Hello, guys. Welcome to Viva Barca and welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to be discussing on the latest transfer news for Barca. We start with Ivan Fresneda, this right back at Real Valladolid, as it has been reported that Barcelona are currently in pole position to sign the player as they are optimistic. We are going to be discussing on that as we progress. Secondly, talking about this other report claiming that Barca rejected a 3 billion offer from this Manchester United's potential new owner for 50% of the club's shares. We are also going to be discussing on that. So guys, as we get right into the full stories, please do ensure to subscribe if you haven't. If you're just coming across the channel for the very first time, you are highly welcome. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. Barcelona have been monitoring Real Valladolid right back Ivan Fresneda as a possible option to reinforce the right back position this summer. However, reports had suggested that the teenager could be bound for Borussia Dortmund, who are progressing in negotiations with his club. But now, according to a report from German outlet Yatrichen, Dortmund have cooled off their interest in Fresneda, putting Barca in pole position to sign the player. Fresneda enjoyed a solid season with Real Valladolid in his debut season in La Liga, which is why clubs are interested in his signing, despite the fact that his club ended up getting relegated. At just 18 years of age, Fresneda is still a bit green, but there is plenty of potential in the young star, which has put him on Barcelona's radar. Another aspect that attracts Barcelona is that Fresneda has a release clause worth 20 million euros in his contract, but could very well be available for only 15 million euros this summer. It has been suggested that the teenage prospect is also attracted by the idea of playing for the La Liga champions and would be willing to wait for an approach, but not for very long. But with Borussia Dortmund now dropping out of the race, Barca may have the edge in pursuit of Fresneda. However, as things stand, funds are hard to come by for Barca and the need to make some important sales before they can consider signing any more players. Furthermore, the signing of Marcelo Brozovic and Vitor Roque are seen as immediate priorities for now, with the right back position lower on Xavi's agenda. So, it remains to be seen how Barcelona's pursuit of Fresneda pans out and whether the La Liga title holders do end up securing Fresneda services this summer. Barcelona have been having a lot of issues with their targets. Like, I don't think we are focused on what we want. A lot of targets, yes, we are interested more than any other club around the world. But at the end, do we get the deal done? Or is it all about talking, talking, and talking? I definitely think that Barca need to act up. They need to be mature more. We understand that, yes, we are going through a lot financially. And that is the main reason why we can't get our hands on our desired targets. We can't get our hands on our desired targets because of that. The right back position is a position that I, for one, have always said it should be a priority. It should be one of the top priorities for Barca. But surprisingly, Xavi will come out and say right back is not a top priority. For him, right back is a necessity. That is, if the DM comes, Xavi wants to fool the whole of Barca with midfielders. If a DM comes, if a central midfielder comes, before he can start considering a right back, which I definitely think we don't even have now. We don't have a natural right back in the first place. Koundé have already said he won't play as a right back again. He have told Xavi that already. He's not comfortable playing there. He wants to play at his natural position because it shouldn't come as something that in the long run Koundé will be diverted, like he will be fully diverted to a right back, which he isn't. And I definitely think that Barca should at least get a right back. Ivan Fresneda has been one of those players that we have been talking about quite a lot this summer as a potential right back for Barca. But I don't think Barca are too serious about this pursuit because there were reports saying that Xavi himself is not too convinced about this 18-year-old player. But there are some members of the Barca board that they want to sign him, that he is a hot prospect. But Javi is not convinced that maybe this guy can cope with the big names, especially in the European competitions next season. He doesn't believe Fresneda will be good for that. But still, Barca are still showing interest. Of course, Javi's top choice have been João Cancelo at right back, but we know that João Cancelo will be so difficult to acquire. First of all, Manchester City want the player to leave permanently. They don't want any loan move for him again. He has a 70 million euro release clause that Barca should pay, but Barca can never pay any 70 million to any player in the world now. Talk less of 40, talk less of even 15 million. Barca will complain that it's too high. They will run away. So I don't think João Cancelo is any player. In fact, there's no hope for that because even though Barca have been pushing for a loan move for João Cancelo, it's going to be quite difficult because the player himself wants a permanent transfer from City, not even a loan move. So Barca focus have been Ivan Fresneda, but Barca have not been too convinced, or because Xavi himself is not too convinced of the signing. So let's see how it goes. But this report is claiming that Barca are currently in pole position. The player is open to a move to Barca, and Barca just need to come into negotiations with Real Valladolid. And of course, he's relatively cheap. 10 million euros is what the club can take for Ivan Fresneda, which I definitely think Barca can afford to pay. Then moving on to the final story of discussion. Barcelona have always prided themselves as being a club that has been owned by fans. In modern day football, with the emergence of state owned clubs, being owned by the supporters is a rarity. However, this has led to Barca enduring troubles financially over the years, competing with European powerhouses that boast incredible monetary muscle is not easy without the influx of an external financial source. As such, Barca have had to sell club assets and devise creative solutions to remain relevant on the competitive scene. British billionaire Sir James Ratcliffe, who is in negotiations to purchase Manchester United, says he contacted Barca last season with an offer to spend in the range of 2 to 3 billion euros to refurbish Camp Nou and acquire 50% of the team, but the club objected to the idea. As per the Times, Ratcliffe revealed that he advised Barcelona against selling their television rights last summer and instead offered to pay them the aforementioned figure. He said, "We told them, don't do this, guys. We will put it in 2 or 3 billion, renovate the Camp Nou and have 50% ownership, and sign a deed to say we will never sell. Our interest was in football alone, not making money. I think it would have worked well," he said. "We talked about it, but in the end, they didn't think they could go on the fans with it. The road they are going down is a disaster now. We tried to point out that, and they said, we know, but they are all short-term termers, Barca regimes," he said, because the president comes in, does it for 5 years, and hands the mess over to someone else, and he leaves. So despite the appealing offer to hand over half of the club's ownership, the Catalan Giants insist on carrying on its current model. Nonetheless, as much as Barca aspire to proceed to be a fan-owned club, Joan Laporta and his men have encouraged the possibility of making an income through their massive brand. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye for now.